What's going on, guys? What's going on? Edgar, what's up, man? Monica, hello. Blanca in the house. Let's get some music going. My Thanksgiving was solid. Had some family in town. Get a little tunage going. Had some family in town. Did the traditional, turkey. However, I Traegered it. I got a Traeger. I Traegered my turkey, and it was pretty damn good. If you don't have a Traeger, think about it. Laura, how are you? Sean, I'm doing good, man. Hopefully you're doing well. I assume everyone had at least a decent Thanksgiving. You're still alive. You're still here. Although I think another shutdown is coming. Pretty sure another shutdown is coming, guys. I'm trying to get that light. Hold on. Let me get to another spot here. Another spot here. You guys get the dizzy camera angle going here. All right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, you're right, Anthony. The Green Mountain grills are cheaper, and I don't have a preference for either one. I got the Traeger as a gift, like an early Christmas gift, kind of because we knew I'd be hosting Thanksgiving and wanted to Traeger the turkey. And I'll tell you what, man, it was legit. It was legit. I would recommend brining the turkey. Brine it basically overnight. It sits in like a salt, sugar mixture, water mixture. I bought a brine, but you can make your own brine. It's not that hard to make at all. And it just soak the turkey in that overnight. And then in the morning, you just dry it off and let it sit kind of open air, but in the fridge. And, I rub butter on it, just give her a little love and, season it up a little bit. And it came out pretty damn bomb, dude. Pretty bomb. Gotta have that butter, man. Butter. Yeah, it was good. It was legit. I would recommend the Traeger. Here's the thing about the Traeger that you don't really know, because whenever you watch these videos of these dudes Traegering and they pull out this piece of meat that looks like it's just decadent, like it looks so good. So on a Santa Maria style, like you'll lower your pit down or your grill down, you'll get it hot, you'll sear whatever you're cooking. You did come in time, Pete. You're cooking like your tri-tip or whatever you got, top block. You'll get that nice sear, and then you raise it up a little bit, and so you have a crispy kind of outside of the meat, but yet tender, moist, juicy, all that good stuff inside. The way a Traeger smoker works, or really probably any smoker, you don't get that crispy outside just by cooking it. You have to, depending on the meat, you have to create that yourself. And I learned that the hard way, man. I got that pack of 3. Sorry, I'm going way off on a tangent right now, but I got a pack of 3 pork loins, and I put those in the Traeger, and they came out like like pink, like they look like a piece of lipstick, dude. They look kind of gross. I mean, the meat was excellent. So just a fair warning out there. When you Traeger or when you smoke meat, to get that crispy outside of the meat that we're used to with Santa Maria style, you gotta do a little extra. It just doesn't come. The Traeger doesn't do it for you, man, in that regard. But besides that, the meat was excellent. Okay, I gotta turn the music down a little bit. Last class, man. How about that? I'll take it. Why not? Let's just go into Christmas. Screw it. Let's roll into 2021. Just deep in COVID and doing YouTube classes, man. I guess there's not much I can say about that. I did hear this though, and if it happens to be true, you heard it here first from your health teacher. But I've got a buddy whose daughter works for the Chamber of Commerce down in Solvang. And the word on the street is that come Friday, old Governor Newsom is going to shut us down again. It sounds like complete shutdown as far as like no more dining at restaurants at all, salons closed again, gyms closed again, the whole thing. So let's hope that's not the case. But the Chamber of Commerce has a direct line to the county, and obviously the county has a direct line to the state. Yeah, go get that hair did. Go get that hair. Yes, Friday. Supposedly, that's the word on the street, man. Friday. So go get that hair did. Go get that toilet paper. Stock up on those beans and rice. Monica, what gym do you work at? What gym? What gym? Planet Fitness. Yeah. My gym's been open. And I think the YMCA's been open. I've driven by there a couple times. I see some people in there. But yeah, supposedly that's the latest I heard, man. So hopefully it's not true. But like I was telling my classes yesterday, dude, as of right now, there's no end in sight as far as like how it's affecting school and how it's affecting work. I can almost assure you that we will be completely online again next semester at Hancock. Hello, Maria. I see that you're here. And frankly, it could go even further. I can feel pretty confident that sports are going to be probably shut down just because of the testing protocols. They can't afford that. They just can't afford it. And there's too many schools that can't afford it. Not only that, supposedly the buses that transport student athletes have already told the schools that they'll only take 22 people at a time, and they have to have a seating assignment. And I mean, there are some teams that can travel with under 22, but there's teams that can't. So I think it's not doable, not feasible. But anyways, moving along. Let's do a quick bit on cancer, just to cover our bases. Looking at my notes here. And I better turn off the music. It's probably the professional thing to do. Before we get into cancer, just really quickly, I got caught up on grading. For the most part, we're pretty much done. Obviously, you'll have a short assignment tonight. Make sure you get that done. And, you know, your grades are real time. If you're looking at your grades and you see 92%, you got an A. If you see 87%, you got a B. If you see 70-something, you got a C. What happened last week? Did I miss something? I knew someone was going to bring that up. I'm not at liberty to discuss what happened last week. Last week was a botch on my part. Don't even worry about it. There was no class at all. Turn the page. You didn't miss anything, Maria, at all. You didn't miss one thing. And as a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, the I deleted the assignment, so there's all of the grading and all that stuff is caught up. So you should be able to look at your grade and see what you have and know what you have, and then do your assignment obviously tonight. Tomorrow is technically the last day of instruction for, basically all the classes. I'll grade everything up. It'll be there. You can see what you have, and you'll know what's coming down the pike when it gets through admissions and records. If you have any issues, you weren't quite sure, logistically, this class went fine for the most part. I had some Canvas issues with some of my other classes, so I have to spend tomorrow getting that stuff cleaned up. So if you do have an issue or a question about a past assignment or whatever, feel free to email me. I'll probably get back to you tomorrow or at some point during the week. But no request to do assignments that you haven't done. I'm not going to entertain that at all. So your grades are pretty much real time. You know where you stand. You know where you're at. It's beautiful. It's not difficult. We're getting through it. Done deal. Let's move on. Here we go. Cancer. Boom. All right. Cancer. Where do we start? Well, first thing, cancer is a little kind of an interesting term because it implies that it's one disease. It's not. Cancer is actually multiple diseases. What we find is with cancer is, for the most part, and please take this with a grain of salt, we all get cancer, right? In other words, we all have genetic mutation and cells and DNA that try to find a way to break away from their coding. But what our body does, a good functioning body does, is they have a programmed death for those cells. They move them out of the body, and you kind of live on, right? What happens with cancer is you lose that programming. So what do I mean by that? Every cell, go back to your 7th grade science class, every cell, its size, its shape, its structure, its color, it's all related to its function. And its function is also based in cohesion. In other words, cells are able to work around each other and with each other to allow each cell to do its own programmed job. That programmed job has a programmed life and it has a programmed death. With cancer, there's a genetic disruption there, and there's mutation that takes place that allows for that cohesion or that programming to be lost, right? So what you have is essentially you have a growth of cells, you have a disruption in the genetic coding, you have a growth of cells that have lost their programming. They no longer have a programmed death, and they are no longer cohesive with the cells around it, right? So this happens all the time in your body. It really does. You are constantly shedding skin. You are constantly expelling toxins from your body. Some of those toxins that you expel through sweat, urine, fecal matter are damaged DNA. That's essentially what your body is it's getting rid of. It's getting rid of the potential for cancer. So that's where actually sleep comes into play with a lot of diseases. 8 hours, man, it's absolutely crucial for long-term mental health as far as like dementia, cardiovascular disease, your body just being, your tissues holding up longer. Rest is important. And any power and performance athlete will tell you that strength doesn't come during the lift, right? Strength doesn't come during the run. Strength doesn't come during the workout. Strength comes after you rest and your body repairs. It's the same thing with just general health. Good tissue health comes from restful tissue, right? Not worn down tissue. So anyways, cancer is a group of diseases for the most part, right? And essentially it's cells being out of control, and ultimately tissues being out of control, systemic issues being out of control. How are cancers alike, and how are cancers different? Well, they're alike because they crowd normal cells. They're alike because they've lost their coding. They're alike because they've lost their their programmed death, right? They're different because there's just that much biodiversity in the world, right? So what do I mean by that? Breast cancer is going to act differently than the colon cancer. Colon cancer is going to act differently than skin cancer. It's also going to act differently on someone who's a raging alcoholic and in poor health, or malnourished, or someone who's in perfect health, right? So in other words, the difference lies in your treatability, and how you came to contract the cancer. So, and I say contract because some cancers you can contract. In other words, HPV, human papillomavirus, we've talked about this, can cause oral cancer, cervical cancer, hepatitis, or liver disease, ultimately liver cancer, right? The difference lies in two parts. Number one, the nature versus nurture argument, right? Some of you, unfortunately, you're genetically predisposed to having certain types of cancer, and maybe even death by cancer. The flip side of that is, where did we catch the cancer, right? Cancer survival rates are highly dependent upon what stage of cancer you begin treatment. So the difference in the cancers lies on the treatment side, right? So another way to put this, pancreatic cancer, I mean, it's almost a death sentence. We don't have a cure, and the survival rate for pancreatic cancer is abysmal. However, colon cancer and even breast cancer, if they're found in the pre-stages or the stage 1 phase, they're very beatable, and you can have a normal life and never have cancer again. So the similarities are pretty much across the board, right? That lack of cohesion, the lack of a programmed death. We've lost our genetic programming. The similarities are all there. The differences are a little bit harder to kind of to lay out and to kind of quantify, because your health, your diet, amount of exercise, your just genetic predisposition, what stage of cancer you're in, what type of cancer you're in, all of these provide the differences in how cancer affects different people. And depending on what stage you're in and what health you're in, you may not have one path to a cure. You may have multiple paths to a cure. In other words, treatment doesn't just necessarily mean chemotherapy. It can mean immunotherapy. It can mean hormone therapy. It can mean radiation therapy. I mean, holistic medicine. I mean, it can encompass a lot of things. How can we talk about cancer and not talk about tumors? Right? So not all tumors are cancerous, right? So, and I'll type this in so we make sure we got this right. Okay. Some cancers are benign, or excuse me, some tumors are benign, and that means non-cancerous. Some tumors are malignant, and that means they're cancerous. Tumors, for the most part, they're just a mass accumulation of cells that, again, can be cancerous or not be cancerous. However, just because there's a mass there doesn't mean you have cancer, and not all cancers create tumors, right? So what they're really looking for not necessarily just a growth. Like you can have cysts and boils and masses anywhere on your body and have them not be cancerous. What they would look for is what we call dysplasia. Let me type that in here. And what dysplasia is basically precancer. In other words, if they were to biopsy a tumor or biopsy a lump or biopsy a polyp in your colon or something along those lines, what they're looking for is dysplasia, and that is a cellular mutation. When they see that mutation, then they know they have something to worry about, whether there's a tumor there or not. And this is exactly what they're doing when they're doing a pap smear, right? This is why I tell you, girls, go get a pap if you're sexually active. They're looking for dysplasia. They're looking for those genetic mutations that are starting to take place that essentially indicate that cancer is going to be there or could very well be there already. Getting back to the fact that not all cancers produce tumors, leukemia. Leukemia is a cancer of blood, right? Produces no tumors. What causes cancer? I don't know. There's a lot of good research that says diet. A lot of good research that says smoke, pollutants, deodorant. No one knows. No one knows what causes cancer. We do know that lifestyle habits probably are the strongest predictor for most people. Although obviously your genetic predisposition plays a role as well. But there's no obvious cause. There's no obvious cause. Obviously, staying away from vices, alcohol use, daily alcohol use, tobacco, daily tobacco use are smart, but also avoiding strong chemicals just in general. Like if you're landscaping your yard, don't throw fertilizer down with your hand, your bare hand. If you work at Jiffy Lube, wear gloves. Don't expose yourself to the fumes and the chemicals, or at least limit yourself as much as possible. But besides that, no one really knows. We don't know. What stage is the cancer in? Or what are the stages? The stages are 1 through 4. And for the most part, if you're at a stage 1 or 2 with most cancers, you're looking at a very positive outcome. You're looking at a beatable disease, or at least a disease where you can live and function fairly normally. Once you start getting into stage 3 and 4, we're talking about significant tissue function loss and other adverse side effects. And frankly, there are some people that are in such poor health that once they get to stage 3 or stage 4 cancer, there's no treatment. The doctor will just simply make you comfortable, and you will live and die with your disease. How is cancer treated? Surgery, medicine, radiation, chemo, immunotherapy, hormone therapy. It just kind of depends on what type of cancer you have, how healthy you are, where you're at, as far as the stages of cancer are concerned. But I would say that the 4 probably most widely used would be chemo, immuno, hormone, and radiation, right? Which is like a targeted therapy. And that's it. That's pretty much all I have. You're going to do a short assignment tonight, and I'll give it to you now. So there's 4 classes. 4 categories of cancer. Now, I didn't say there's 4 types of cancer. What I said was there's 4 classes or 4 categories of cancer, right? I mentioned one of them, leukemia. Leukemia is a cancer that originates in the blood. So that's the other thing you need to know about cancer. Cancer is named based off where it originated from. So you may have cancer in your arm, but it's leukemia. It started in your blood, right? So what I want you to do is research the 4 main categories of cancer and define each one, or explain each one. Super simple. Shouldn't take you that long. Quick Google search. Bada bing, bada boom, done. Are there any questions? Is anyone still awake? Is anyone still alive? We're still doing okay? Anyone? Bueller? Okay. That's all I got, guys. School's over. This is your last assignment. Last week. Still breathing. Yeah. Can I repeat what? Can you repeat T? What's T, Maria? So far, I am still living, thank God. Can I repeat it? Repeat what? The homework? Okay. Yes. List the 4 categories of cancer, right? And explain each one. So, oh, you're in the restroom. Okay. Take your phone with you. Take your computer with you. I do it all the time. Leukemia is one of them. There you go. Look up the other 3. Pretty simple. So far, I'm still living, thank God. What do you mean by that? Still living. All right. Anyways, hey, I wish I had you guys in class in person. Didn't work out this time around. No biggie. We'll get through it. If we ever get back to campus, and if you see me walking around, give me a shout out. Say, hey, I was one of your Corona kids. I'll be like, hey. I'm looking at all these names. I'm usually great with faces, and I totally just out the door with names. But now that all I did semester was look at names, you just got to throw out your name, and I'll remember you now. Boom. What other classes do you got going on this coming semester? I have some space, and I enjoy. Well, unfortunately, man, I'm just teaching health now. Occasionally, I teach rec, but I would hate to do that right now. Rec is an in-person class for sure, and I wish health was too. We'd do way more than we did now, but not feeling this remote learning situation thing. But it is what it is. We just keep pushing through. So, anyways, you see me around, give me a what's up. Tell me hi. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Check in on your grades. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. I'll try to get back to you for the end of the week, but I'll definitely answer all the emails before I do my grades, and I'll try to lock those up probably by the weekend. Just be done and start Christmas, man. Let's do it. All right, guys. COVID free, baby. Later.